Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're taking you on a relaxing boat tour across some beautiful lakes in Winter Park. You'll see peaceful views, cool wildlife, and learn a little bit about what makes these lakes so special. So hop on board, sit back, and enjoy the ride as we explore the natural beauty of Winter Park from the water. The ticket prices are $20 for adults and $10 for kids. The name of the boat tours are literally called Scenic Boat Tour, and it was established in 1938. It was very fun and is definitely another one of Florida's hidden gems.
My name is Dennis. I will be your skipper for the next hour through 3 lakes and 2 canals. Has anybody done this before? Oh, frequent floaters. Woohoo, yeah. Welcome back. We love frequent floaters.
Our last tour had to be cut short because of rain.
Okay, yeah, that happens this time of the year.
Finish it up.
Well, we are starting off on Lake Osceola. And Lake Osceola was named after our famous Seminole Indian chief, Osceola. And he ran these grounds for many years in the early 1800s. How many, let's see, where are y'all from? What part? Okay. That yellow boathouse we just passed, that belongs to the Morse Foundation. The Morse Museum sits about 3 blocks up the road on Park Avenue. Has anybody done it yet? Oh, well, you have a treat. I highly recommend it. Number one, Tiffany Glass knew that if they built a home on the lake, they wanted to see the lake from anywhere they were at inside that home. So no matter where you're at in that house, you will have a lakeside view. To the right here, this cove up there, that is called Alligator Cove. And about 20 years ago, we had about 200 alligators pulled out of the lakes and shipped to Lake Jessup, which is a lake about 10-15 miles from here. Number 1 inhabited gator lake in the United States. And as of today, we claim we do not have alligators in our lakes. Excuse me. Well, if you look directly in front of us, right here where I'm pointing, that is currently the largest home on the lake that has been under construction for 4 years. Straight up. They finished it around Thanksgiving, and that is a life-size elephant in the backyard. They had that imported from India and dropped in by helicopter. I know. Well, in front of us on the left of our canal, that's another James Gamble Rogers design. That home was remodeled this year. Turned out to be a beautiful home, I think. So clean and neat. And then the home on the right, the little statue in the backyard, we skippers have named her Southern Exposure. And that's where Penny Hardaway made his famous Nike commercial when he played basketball for the Orlando Magic. Well, you're headed into the Venetian Canal. This is our longest, narrowest, curviest canal on the chain of lakes. Excuse me. Orchids in the trees starting here, go all the way down.
I see. This is a car, bring your car.
Now you know why we don't have tops on our boats, because we would not make it through our bridges and canals. So is this Georgia group here on vacation before you got rained out? So, nice.
Guys, the place is this way.
See?
How far did you make it on your last trip before you got rained out? Oh, okay.
See?
That's also
They have a boat.
floated.
Yeah, well, they're not out this morning yet. At least I haven't spotted one on the last trip. We've only had one trip before this one.
Can we second boat?
There are a lot of them in these trees usually, though.
No, what's so weird? What's so weird?
No, it is not. We're going to come back through the same canal. Pray. No, someone's got to get in a boathouse, or they know when we're in and out. That's why we get off the dock together, and that's why I caught up with these boats. And yes, the owl must be out.
Looks like too old boats. Too much oil.
Either or else they've got boats that tried to come in.
Those boats?
Yeah, they just got a log jam, I think. Is he out? Is he up there, John? Yeah. Ooh. Look up in here. There's usually an owl, but they're very hard to spot. They're about this big. It's a barred owl. No, I don't see him.
I found one.
You did? Good. You got a good eye.
Really?
Good imagination, right? That's awesome. I'm it. You're good to go. Thank you, guys. Well, as we come to the...
No, the thing is stuck. It needs to go that way. It's stuck on the back. You know that.
Well, as we come to the end of the canal here,
So don't let that.
we will be in Lake Maitland. Lake Maitland is our largest lake on the chain of lakes, and the only lake large enough for our Rollins College crew team to work out on. So to the right is the Rollins College crew facility. Rollins College sits 1.5 miles away from here on our last lake, which is Lake Virginia, and we will be on it later, and I'll share a whole lot more about Rollins College with you. But this is a beautiful Lake Maitland. There's a water inga, or a snake bird. To the right is Craft Azalea Garden. Craft Azalea Garden is a beautiful 11-acre garden with 200 to 300-year-old cypress trees that surround our garden, and always people in there doing family photography, or someone on one knee proposing, or a little wedding chapel, as many as 10 weddings on some weekends. But to the right here, behind the trees, that's the old Alabama Hotel. The Alabama was built in the early 1900s. Folks from all over the world would show up there to enjoy the beauty of our lakes and to escape the winter months. They have turned that into a private condo recently. Margaret Mitchell finished writing her book, Gone with the Wind, in that hotel. And then in front of us, the Via Toscado, beautiful Italian garden. Yeah, I could live in the boathouse. Right? To the right's a beautiful home built by a gentleman who had gone to Venice, Italy. Fallen in love in Venice with the way they build their homes on the waterfront with no land around the back. So he built that house with the water going right up to the house. Only problem he had is his wife came home one day and the kids were jumping off the roof into the lake. And she was afraid they'd get hurt, so she made him fill it in. And when he did, he had no room for his pool or his pool house, so he built it next door. That is his pool house next door. Tom Hanks later in the years rented that home for a number of months while he was doing some filming in a few of the bedrooms for a few of his movies over the years. The Isle of Sicily in the middle. If you look across the horizon, there's another island, and that island is known as Dog Island. Dog Island is the island where the kids show up on the weekends to enjoy the lakes and to get escape from the grown-ups. Then our little Charlie Brown Skipper Christmas tree, we leave that decorated all year long in memory of a few of our skippers that we've lost over the years. And then that is an osprey that has built its nest in it. Well, you got three beautiful homes in front of us. The home in the middle, behind the trees, that is a home that Horace Grant built when he played basketball for the Orlando Magic. Horace Grant, that's about a 17,000 square foot home with a basketball court in the middle, of course. And when he sold that home, the folks that bought it had to come in and lower countertops and toilets and everything so they could refurbish it for themselves. They also added the third floor with that rising bar overlooking our lake. On the hill next to it, that was built in 1931 by a gentleman called Mr. Packard. He was the founder of the old Packard car out of Detroit, Michigan. And he would show up every year to enjoy the beauty of our lake and escape the winters in Detroit, Michigan. Can't say I blame him much, right? Looks like Rollins is getting a new dock for the boathouse. If you look going into the canal on both sides of the shore, those are cypress knees. Cypress knees are protected, and the root system for our cypress trees. That's the above ground root system. Well, here's the boat as we talk. Takes practice.
leaf fall on me.
Yeah, I saw it fall. There's our Mickey and Minnie. Not sure what we got going on here. Someone else got in the canal. We have times on each end that tells them when we're in and out, but some of them don't read them. No, just some water, a few trees down. But we had water up along the bank here. Of course, we couldn't get under the bridges for a week or two. As you can see how you don't have a lot of room. Someone must be backing out. Y'all staying out by Disney? Yeah. Just come in here for the day to do this? Nice. Go down Park Avenue and have lunch? Well, here's a boat as we talk. Yeah, that's a water snake bird, or an eninga, or a cormorant. It's got all kinds of names. Yeah. And we're going to make our way to Lake Virginia. And when we do, we'll talk a lot about Rollins College. However, one of our famous Rollins College graduates lived right here in this brick home with an ivy while he attended Rollins College, and his name was Fred Rogers. Mr. Rogers went to school here in 1948 to 1952. And as I tell everybody, not sure that house looked like that in 48. However, I am sure you had to be standing out back overlooking the lakes when he said, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood." And he opened his show every day with that. Our lakes. He fell in love with Winter Park and the chain of lakes and the beauty of our lakes, and had built a cabin on the hill, but he could never get his wife. Well, in front of us on the right here, this is the Polaschik Museum. Mr. Polaschik was an immigrant from Czechoslovakia. He was a sculptress. There's about 200 pieces of sculpture on that property and in that museum. And you can tour that any day but Monday. All of our museums are closed on Monday. Beautiful museum. And then if you remember, I told you the oldest house came from across the lake over there, remember? This is it. It's called the Capon House. And about 15 years ago, the family that bought the Capon House, when it was on the other side of the lake, realized they could not make that into their forever dream home, so they donated it to the city of Winter Park. Winter Park came in with 2 barges, cut it in half, and floated it across the lake, pulled it up there and put it together as a beautiful museum on the Pulaski property. And now almost every weekend there's some type of activity that goes on out of the museum. And then this beautiful house on the right, this last one, if you ever heard of Mr. Sinclair, Mr. Sinclair owned the oil company, the gas stations that had the green dinosaur. That was the Sinclair Oil Company and Mr. Sinclair's winter cottage. You're headed into the Fern Canal. This canal is a little, because it was dug out in the late 1800s by our folks from up north that showed up to harvest the trees. And they needed to move them back and forth through our lakes, and that's why they dug this out wider and deeper so they could move the trees back and forth while they were harvesting them. Well, if you feel like you're very tall, I would suggest you duck your head as we go under the Loma Bridge. You can always tell if it's a rainy season because of our beautiful live oak here. And if you look across this live oak, it's full of resurrection fern. However, the resurrection fern looks dead, but when the rain starts coming, it comes to life and turns bright green. That's why they call it resurrection fern. However, we do have one resident gator, but he's a true stoner, and Jeremiah the bullfrog, a great friend of mine. And you are now in the beautiful Lake Virginia, the home to Rollins College. And if you look to the right, that is the Knowles Chapel. And that sits in the middle of Rollins College. We'll make our way over there, and I'll tell you a lot more about it when we get there. Meantime, I'll share with you the left side of our lake. The bridge that goes across it goes along to the Winter Park business. Like this, you'd wake up in the morning to a beautiful cup of coffee or tea overlooking Lake Mizell. Well, Rollins College starts its curve down here, goes almost to where we came into the lake. Rollins was founded in 1885 as a private liberal arts college. However, as I like to tell people, somehow they figured out how to become very good in water sports. Go figure, right? And 5 beautiful pools on our campus. If you would have gone to school when Rollins was founded, it would have cost you about $100 a year. And today, if you attend Rollins College, it is in the upper $75,000 a year. Last year, we only had 2,200 students on our campus. That was a 9-to-1 ratio. For every 9 students, there was 1 professor or faculty member. So as I like to say, these kids are spoon-fed. These are 200 to 300-year-old cypress trees. Beautiful dorms that were built a few years back. And what would make a dorm special? Well, these dorms are special because every dorm was built with its own bathroom and its own washer and dryer. Not a bad life for a college or desk, overlooking the lake out the back window and tell mom and dad, just enjoying the beauty of the lake while I study. This is our water sports facility, and it is shut down for the summer because Rollins is packed when school season starts. and the sailboats will be back out. And behind the sailboats is the Rollins College Art Institute, or private condominium. Oh man, we didn't have a full boat. Well, the heat's coming, isn't it? You just feel, didn't it feel like it just hit 10 degrees hotter? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. And I like to ask people if they think they know where Spanish moss came from and how it got here. Any idea? Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Well, we are headed back under our bridge, so if you feel tall, I would suggest you duck again. And I know you got the duck up front. That's usually who ducks.
That's you,
Or the kids. They usually the listeners. And if you, we are the longest running tourist attraction in the state of Florida. And as I said, until social media and Instagram and TikTok, a lot of folks never even knew we were here. It was all word of mouth because we don't advertise in any way. But since then, we've been in the New York magazine for trips and all kinds. But we appreciate y'all taking time. A little house, aren't they? They don't care about us. Yeah, they don't care about us.
I guess it's heat basically.
When it starts getting real hot, we will not take little.
I hope you guys liked this video. We will meet you again soon with another interesting video. If you like this video, don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.